One of the most important pieces of our Out of the Darkness events, my lovely granddaughter, Nevaeh, sweet thing, is the opportunity to share a bit of our stories, and the next speaker does this mightily. Katie Kaufman has a passion for helping others. She's been an active volunteer with AFSP for over 5 years and was our keynote speaker with us 2 years ago in Oakland, which I like to attend the Oakland Walk myself. It's a great walk, comes out of the darkness just like the overnight. She has met with both state and federal lawmakers to advocate for suicide prevention and mental health care legislation, and now has her master's degree in social work and works as a mental health crisis counselor. Everybody, please welcome Katie Kaufman.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for that great introduction. I don't think anything now. Well, hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for being here. My name is Katie Kaufman, and I'm coming to you from San Diego today. I used to believe that the depression and the anxiety I faced each day were my Achilles heel. Speaking openly about my own struggles with mental health, sharing my story, and having real conversations has led me to a deeper understanding, not only of me, of myself, but of others as well. And it's led me to turn my Achilles heel into a source of strength and into a source of power. Only 2.5 years ago, I was asked to be the keynote speaker at the Oakland Walk. I felt super anxious just hearing that I could possibly be a speaker, sharing my vulnerable story for the first time in front of 900 strangers, most of whom had likely been connected to suicide on a personal level. And knowing that, it tugged at my heart like a 500-pound anchor sinking deeply into the most vulnerable parts of my being. It was the first time that I had ever shared my story and had ever spoken publicly. I have been an active volunteer, and I still am, with AFSP in the Northern and Southern California chapters. I was always a persistent and squeaky wheel, still am today, always asking, hey, I want to be involved. Put me in, coach. I want to speak. I want to share my story. You know, how can we make the biggest impact? I really want to do this. Help me help others. And I got a call one day, and the person said, our pre-booked speaker can't attend. Do you want to be the keynote speaker at this year's event? That moment changed my life. Without hesitation, without even being able to respond right away, I had tears of joy streaming down my face with a huge smile, and I excitedly exclaimed, yes, I would love to. I would love to be your speaker. Thank you so much for letting me share my story. Put down the phone, and I realized I had 1 week to write and rehearse giving what to me felt like the most important part of my life. I had never shared my personal battles with more than a handful of people, let alone a 900-person crowd. The day came. Gosh, I remember it so vividly. It was 5 a.m. and I was nervous, chilly from the Bay Area weather, but I took several deep breaths, calmed myself down, and I walked onto that stage with confidence. I delivered my speech and shared my story with boldness, with vulnerability, and most of all, with determination to break the cycle of suicide. Immediately after sharing my story, I just felt like, this is me, world. I can breathe. I can be Katie Kaufman. I can be who I am. No more weights on my shoulders. This is the first day of my new life. And shortly thereafter, an 8-year-old boy approached me near the stage, and he thanked me for sharing my story and for inspiring him to be himself. He then shared with me that he has depression and anxiety. And this 8-year-old just sharing what he has been through and is still going through, and allowing me to be a part of his story and his life, and contributing to his self of acceptance and love and empowerment. That fueled my fire even more to keep going and keep fighting to break this cycle of suicide. We are the difference, and we can help. Together, we can do anything. It's been about 2.5 years since I gave that speech, since I publicly shared my story for the first time. What had felt most like the deepest, darkest, most hidden corners of my being, I now shine light on. I shine light onto the dark corners, and I leverage those dark corners as my sources and my pillars of strength. Instead of avoiding the hardships that life will always throw at us, I now confront them head on, face on, ready for the challenge, knowing that I have a toolbox that I can pull my tools out anytime and use to get through life, anything that is thrown at me. And I've learned to shine a light onto the dark corners. By accepting who I am, what life is throwing at me, and how I feel, I've created a safe, a non-judgmental, and a loving place for me to work through these feelings rather than avoid them. Instead of avoiding this frightening roller coaster ride of mental health and mental challenges, confronting them from a place of vulnerability that is strength has been key. And in sharing my story, I can create a safe space for others like you to share your story, to share your own experiences and your own challenges, and have real conversations about what you're going through. And for you to find strength in your Achilles heels. At this point in my life, I recognize that all of these challenges, specifically mental health challenges that I faced since I was just 14 years old, so the majority of my life, these challenges have positioned me perfectly and so well prepared to be a vessel to serve others, to be someone that can help with a long-term future of service, just like being here today with all of you. We did it together. These last 2 years, I've pushed further in my drive to help other people, as was just mentioned. I am meeting face-to-face, traveling to Washington, D.C., and to the state capitol in California for me, meeting with these legislators and these lawmakers, passionately advocating to make mental health care and suicide prevention a public policy priority at both the state and the federal levels. I recently graduated with my master's degree in social work, and I also work as a mental health counselor at a crisis house, where I provide psychosocial rehabilitation to individuals who are in a mental health crisis. The tables have turned. I used to be that person. I was the client. I was the patient. And through building a toolbox, I've been able to come to the other side and help others with the same exact things that I was going through. Building this toolbox throughout the years, I can't stress it enough. I use it when I need strength or support or reminders that I need to take care of myself. I need to tap into this healthy coping skill, do deep breathing or grounding, go for a walk, what have you. And I want to share this toolbox with all of you today. In case you don't already have one, I encourage you to build one today. Build your toolbox with things that make you feel good, things that you can just pull out and know that that's going to make you feel better. That's going to build your mastery, and you're going to be a happier person, or at least be able to manage your symptoms better because of this toolbox that you can have for the rest of your life and use it when you need strength and support. Sharing my story 2.5 years ago was the most important day of my life, and it changed my life forever. I've learned that through sharing my story, I can provide a voice to people who don't feel like they have a voice of their own, or for those who are still working on building their voice. I'm actively always seeking opportunities to work as a unified team, to collaborate, to see how together we can elevate humanity, how we can stop suicide, how we can elevate mental health legislation. Today's mission is for us to make a sustainable impact in the world of mental health. We, together, can elevate humanity. All of us here are leaders. You showed up today. You want something to change just as much as I do. And together, working together, we can and we will stop suicide. Keep going, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie, for openly sharing your lived experience and strength with us all. I know this issue has changed my life in thinking I'm able to now talk aloud about things and help others, especially. It's one of the great things I love. And I know myself and many of the others out here, we all greatly appreciate what you do and what you are doing. Thank you so very much. Keep going.